What a great church. What a great church. Freedom House, you ought to know that you are the best of the best. You got a great church right here in this wonderful area of Charlotte, North Carolina, and a beautiful day today as well. I asked the pastor how long I had to preach, and he said, you can preach as long as you want to, but we will leave at 11:45. Now, in case you're wondering who I am, whenever your computer goes down and you call for tech support, that's me. Just be nice to me. And speaking louder is not the issue. Actually, your accent confuses me as much as mine confuses you. I met Pastor Troy and Pastor Penny Maxwell for the first time as far as having a real conversation this last Friday night. And I have absolutely fallen in love with them. They are the best of the best, and they are right here in your house. How blessed are we to have them right here in this house. And God, they're just godly leaders and people of integrity and people who actually love you. Not every pastor loves their people, but they actually, something wrong with them, but they actually, they actually love you. And I've just been a joy and an honor to be with you Friday, Saturday, and today. And thank you so much for this great invitation to be here. I have some resources, some books and stuff that are to your right and my left. I'm not going to take time to talk about every one of them, but I know that if you are a leader or you are a supervisor or you want to get ahead in life, all those books are going to help you. If you want me to sign your books, I'd be happy to do them for you. If not, sign them yourself. Nobody knows the difference. Normally, I retail my books at speaking engagements like this for $20. But I want to be part of what God is doing here. So you have a CD recording coming up, which his normal deal is $10, so I'm not going to cut into that. But if you will buy one of those tickets, or you already have bought a ticket, and you want to just walk up to the table and say, I have bought a ticket, they will believe you, and instead of selling you the book for $20, they will sell it to you for $15, and that's a 25% discount. So even though I won't be able to be there with you, I'll be in Nigeria. I'd much rather be here, but I'll be in Nigeria, but you are doing a great work, and that's my way of saying believe in you. So if you want to go out there and do that, that'll be available to you as well. And the last thing is Dr. John Maxwell and I have started a company together in which we coach coaches. So people who want to become life coaches, executive coach, health coach, sales coach, speaking coach, whatever kind of professional coach you want to do, and you want to be a professional at that and build a career out of that, make some money at that. We train you. It's all done by phone and emails and conference calls and DVDs and so on and so forth. And I'll be happy to sell you information on that. If you'll stop by the table and give us your name, your email address, and your cell number, somebody's going to contact you and take it from there. If you have your Bibles, let's go to the book of Genesis. That's the first book of the Bible, chapter 38. Chapter 38. Genesis chapter 38, and we will get to that in just a moment. Genesis chapter 38, and we will be there momentarily. In the Old Testament, there were the patriarchs, the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the well-known people. But Jacob had a number of sons, and one of his sons' name was Judah. And Judah had 3 boys. And the oldest one was married to a young lady by the name of Tamar. Tamar was married to the oldest son, and then after a while, the oldest son messed up, and God took him out. That's how things roll in the Old Testament. And yes, and so when he messed up, God took him out. According to Jewish law, he was then the bride, or Tamar, the daughter-in-law, was then passed on down to the younger son, the middle son, and he messed up as well, and God took him out as well. How many of you are glad you're not living in Old Testament times? You know, we wouldn't be here today, and that building would never get built. So all that goes on, and now he is dead as well. Now there's a third boy left, but he is too young to be married. So Judah, the father-in-law, comes to Tamar, the daughter-in-law, says, hey, listen, he's too young to be married. Why don't you go back to your daddy's village, live there with your daddy. When he is old enough, I will call you and you can get married. Well, time goes on. She's in the daddy's village. She's keeping an eye on the boy. And pretty soon he's old enough. But she is not getting a phone call saying, come on down. Let's set a wedding time for you. That did not happen. Now, from Judah's point of view, I can understand that because you see, she's already killed 2 of his boys. He's not going to let her do that to the third boy. So now life is going on and she is frustrated. But in the meantime, Judah's wife died. When Judah's wife died, after a few months, weeks of that, he is now taking a road trip. As he was taking a road trip, word comes to Tamar, the daughter-in-law, that your father-in-law is going to be coming by your village. So she took off her clothes of a widow woman. In those days, you could wear certain clothes that signified that you're a widow, and put on the clothes of a prostitute, and went and sat by the roadside. Judah came by and sees her and starts talking to her. How many of you know he's not looking for directions? So they start negotiating out how much for what and this kind of stuff. Everything's a la carte. So it's just kids are not here, right? It's just us. We can talk, right? So they work it out, and so now they come time to how you going to pay me. He says, I'll send you a billy goat. Well, I don't see a billy goat with you, and I appreciate the lamb chops you're going to send me, but I don't see it with you. How do I know I can trust you? Because you see, she knows who he is, but he doesn't know who she is. It's been that long. And so she says, I don't know if I can trust you. Can I have some collateral? So he says, what collateral do you want? She says to him, I want your ring, I want your bracelet, and I want the stick with which you are walking. Let me have those, and I'll hold them. When you send me the billy goat, I will give these back to you. Well, so he took it off, gave it to her. They did what they did. Do you want me to tell you what they did? Okay, so I don't know, I'm in Charlotte, maybe. So they did the deed, huh? And I'm trying to keep it clean here. And so pastor is right there looking at me like. So Judah goes on, and Tamar goes to her village. So Judah goes back home after a while, says to his servant, he said, listen, I met this woman, we did it, and here's a billy goat, give it to her, bring me back my ring, my bracelet, my stick. She's holding as collateral, and then we'll be cool. So the servant goes in the village, starts looking for her. Of course, she's gone back to the village, taken off her clothes of a prostitute. She's back in her widow woman's clothes, and so he can find her. So he goes back home and says, hey, Judah, I can't find her. He said, well, okay. Well, in the meantime, when Judah, the father-in-law, and Tamar, the daughter-in-law, got together, she got pregnant. Now, word comes to Judah in his village saying, hey, listen, your daughter-in-law that you sent off to live with her daddy, she done got herself pregnant. I'm from Georgia, that's how we say it there. She done got herself pregnant. So Judah, the father-in-law, is really ticked off as his daughter-in-law says, bring her out so we can stone her and burn her to death. Old Testament is in full bloom. And so they come out into the market square, and there their people are gathered around. There is Tamar, the daughter-in-law. She is showing. There is Judah, the father-in-law, right there. Everyone's ready to stone her. And Tamar, the daughter-in-law, looks at her father-in-law and says, do you want to know who the daddy? Judah says, who the daddy? Tamar says, the man to whom this ring belongs, the man to whom this bracelet belongs, the man to whom the stick belonged, he the daddy. Now we think we just start talking like that. No, they've been doing that from Genesis. You ought to read your Bible. It's all in there. I'm not making this up. And then Judah dropped the rocks. The crowd dispersed. He looked at her and said, "You have been more faithful than I have to you." He repented to her. In fact, the Bible has a very important verse in there saying that from that day on, Judah, the father-in-law, never touched Tamar, his daughter-in-law. She's pregnant. She's pregnant with twins. Follow me now into the maternity room in Exodus chapter 38. Genesis. It's in the Bible, right? Genesis chapter 38. Thank you, pastors, both of you. Genesis chapter 38, beginning verse 27. And came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb. And came to pass when she travailed that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, "This came out first." And it came to pass as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, "How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee." Therefore his name was called Pharez. Afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. So, they're in the maternity room. They have done the ultrasound. They have figured out that there are twins. Well, in those days, the ultrasound was just like this, right? And so the midwife comes prepared with some stuff to mark who the firstborn is going to be. The midwife comes with a piece of red thread. At the time of delivery, a hand comes out. The midwife very quickly ties a red thread around the kid's hand. But the hand goes back down. And the younger brother climbs over the older brother and comes on out. When he comes on out, the midwife looks at the boy and says to him, "How did you break through?" And in those days, midwives used to name the babies. And she called that baby Breakthrough. In fact, in Hebrew, his name is called Pharez. In Spanish, that would be Perez. Because you see, there's a difference between somebody who is waiting to break through and somebody who knows that I am breakthrough. There are a whole lot of folk who are saying, "Well, one day I will break through. If I just do this, I will break through." I'm praying that I will experience my breakthrough. They are sowing into the breakthrough. They're doing everything about their breakthrough. But I come by with some good news for somebody here this morning, that you don't have to wait on a breakthrough, but your new name is Breakthrough. Everyone go like this. Everyone go like this. My name is Breakthrough. Let's change that. My new name is Breakthrough. You can call me Breakthrough. Breakthrough is who I am. My new name is Breakthrough. Oh, when you believe that, does not matter where you are in life, you walk into your breakthrough. But then do you know some folk who are so close to breaking through, but they never do? I have concluded there's only one reason people don't break through, and that is fear. So in my time with you, I want to give you 4 things that you can't be afraid of. 4 things you can't be afraid of. Number 1, you can't be afraid of opposition. You can't be afraid of what? Opposition. Because there are 2 kinds of opposition. Opposition from the outside and opposition from the inside. And the opposition from the outside can come from friends, can come from co-workers. Opposition from the outside can come from family. Now, how many of you know family can be really weird? Relatives and fish. After 3 days, they gotta go. Somebody said that the best Christmas lights you're gonna see are the tail lights of relatives leaving. So opposition can come from the outside, but I have also concluded that it's easier for me to deal with the opposition from the outside than opposition on the inside. Because my inside messes me up. My inside plays mind games with me. My inside tells me, you ain't all that in a bag of chips. My inside tells me you don't have the right education. My inside tells me you don't have enough money. My inside tells you nobody will believe you. My inside tells me that nobody's going to buy what you got. My inside tells me you're too young. My inside tells me you're too old. My inside tells me you're in the right place at the right time. My inside messes me up. But I'm here to tell you that you have a yes on your life. You have a yes on your life. Does not matter where you are in life. There is a yes. Everyone go like this. Everyone go like this. Everyone go like this. Yeah, keep it up there. But just 30 more seconds. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah. You see, everyone look up now. What you got over you? Yes. Yes. You see, watch me now. Everywhere I go, there is a yes. It's not like I'm in church on Sunday morning and I'm leaving, the yes kind of falls off. No, after this, when I go out for lunch, there will be a yes. When I go to the airport, there's going to be a yes. When I get to my house, there's going to be a yes. When I get to my job tomorrow, there's going to be a yes. Does not matter where I am in life, there's always going to be a yes on my life. Because my new name is, and there is a yes on my life. The second thing you can be afraid of is work. You heard me right? W-O-R-K. I know it's a 4-letter word. And some folk that you know are allergic to work. How many of you know folk who come on the job with you? Not everybody on the job works. Would you agree with that? Yeah. God is saying to us, you need to work and I will bless the hands that are working. I will bless what you work at. See, our theology says to us that I am going to wait for God to do His part and then I'm going to come behind God. Oh God, I'm waiting for God to move. I'm waiting for God to move. Listen, if you're waiting for God to move, you'll be dead. So you say, do you have Bible for it? Of course I got Bible for it. Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 2. Is the only place in the Bible where God created something out of nothing. In the Hebrew text, that is known as ex nihilo. Ex means out of, nihilo means nothing. So He created the world out of nothing. But after that, every miracle in the Bible that Jesus did had to do with human beings doing their part first, before God did His part second. Give you some examples. Moses, I'm going to divide the Red Sea for you, but you have to hold up the staff. I'm going to call water out of the rock, but you have to speak to the rock. Remember Jesus' first miracle in the wedding at Cana, where they ran out of hooch. Yeah, I know Bible says wine. Actually, they just ran out of good stuff, right? And this is Jesus' first miracle. Have you ever wondered how Mary knew that He could turn water into wine? Because He's been doing that kind of stuff all along at home. She says to Him when He's growing up, go clean your room. I said, go clean your room. It's clean. No, it's clean. Room be clean. Son, it's your turn to do dishes. Dishes? Be clean. Remember, he was a carpenter, son. He was a carpenter. You know, Dad, what kind of house are we building today? Oh, we don't feel like going to work. No, we got to go. No. Just stay right here. Okay. House be built. Trees are just flying everywhere, cutting themselves with 2x4s, everything. Shingles are hanging. I mean, everything is cool. Dad is built. That's why they were the best in the city. They could meet your time deadline all the time. Because I've always wondered, how did Mary know that He could turn water into wine? But how many of you know that before He could turn the water into wine, they had to bring Him the water? Remember, He's walking with Mary and Martha, the sisters, to the brother's grave, and he's been dead for 4 days. In fact, they say he stinks. And that's what people are going to say after you die. And as they walk into the grave, Jesus comes to the grave and He knows He's going to raise Lazarus from the dead. And yet He looks at the people over there and says, you need to roll away the stone. If you roll away the stone, I can call Lazarus out of the dead. See, God is waiting for you to do what you can do so he can do what you cannot do. If you will do the possible, God will do the impossible. If you will do what is natural, God will do the supernatural. You got to say to yourself, God, what is it you want me to do? The very next step, I will do the work, and you can show up and show out and show off and do all that you want to do. But I'm going to do what you have called me to do. Somebody in here is waiting for God to move, and God is waiting for you to move, for you to do your part so he can come by and do his part. Because your new name is what? And there is a yes on your life. The third thing you can be afraid of is the unknown. Is the unknown. You know, everybody's waiting for God to reveal his will in such a way that you will know where you will be in 2015. He doesn't do that. He just says, I will give you enough light for today. If it was night time and you are parked in this parking lot, how many of you can see your house from this parking lot? You can do that. You don't sit there and say, well, I can't see my house, so I can't go. Or I'm waiting for God to show me where my house is. No, we'll come back next Sunday. You'll be strapped in, dead. But you turn on your car, your lights, your headlights go 20 yards. And you start driving 20 yards at a time, 20 yards at a time, 20 yards at a time, 20 yards at a time. And next thing you know, you are in your driveway. See, that is what the Bible means by when it says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my... He gives you just enough light for the next day. So today is Sunday. He gives you enough for Monday, and then for Tuesday, and then for Wednesday, and then for Thursday, and then for Friday, and then for Saturday. He just gives you enough light. Don't be afraid of what's lurking out there. Don't be afraid of what's behind there. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen next year. Just make up your mind. I know today is today. Oh yeah, people are saying, you know, they're going to run out of Social Security, and they are not going to have enough money, and things are going to get worse, and we're going to go through another recession. Nobody knows. I'm going to tell you all the way from the White House to the outhouse. Nobody knows. Oh, yeah. You know, ABC, CNN, NBC, they're all telling me that I'm going down, but I made up my mind. I know today, for today, there's enough of God in my life. I'm going to make it today. Tomorrow, I'll make it again. The next day, I'm going to make it again. I'm going to make it again and again. I cannot be afraid of the unknown because I know so much. I know he's still the king. I know he's still the Lord. I know he's still the healer. He's still the provider. He's still my Jehovah Jireh. He's still the Alpha. He's still the Omega. He's still the beginning. He's still the end. He who brought me out can take me in. He has been a faithful God. And I know that. 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 Because my new name is. And there is a. The fourth and final thing you can be afraid of is failure. Anybody in here ever been fired from a job? There's a lying spirit in this house. I'm going to ask the question again. Anybody been fired from a job? See, a bunch of liars, why didn't you raise your hand the first time? That's why they got fired, right? Thank you, Pastor. Yeah. I've been fired twice. Back in 1973, I came to America. I was 20 years old. I'm 59 now. You don't have to do the math. 73, 20, 83. So this Assembly of God Church, which is now the largest Assembly of God Church in Atlanta, hired me in the daycare center. I mean, what were they thinking? So I was supposed to be in the playground with the kids playing, and I wasn't out there. This kid fell off the swing, broke his arm, gave me an arm, and what a wimp, you know? I mean, just like kind of tied up, go on, play outside. What's the problem here? He has a broken arm. Gee whiz. You act like you're the first one with a broken arm. Like you're someone special or something like that. So anyhow, they called me and fired me. A few, a few years later, this is 73. In 1990, 91, somewhere in there, I had come back now to be a university president in Atlanta. And so this church invited me to come and preach, like on Sunday morning. Now they had moved from their original location to this new location that had like a 5,000-seat auditorium, huge place. So they introduced me and stuff like that. And so I got up there and I said, this church gave me my first job. And they all went, yeah. So I worked that for a little bit. And I talked to them about how I was homeless and you took me in. I was an immigrant and you gave me a job. And I'm here because of you. If you had not invested in my life, yeah. And then I said, and this church fired me from my job. And all the anointing in the house went. Arr. The second job I got fired from was from Goodwill. Yeah, you can get fired from Goodwill. It's on my resume. I'm the only one who has the distinct badge of honor. Yes, I'm breakthrough, and there's a yes. They said, yes, get out of here. I was in the men's pants department, and a high-tech job. I had a measuring tape that I had to measure the length, and then a masking tape, put it on the belt piece here, and then write down the size 34 times 36 or whatever, and then that was it. So after doing it for a whole week, I got so good at it. I didn't need the measuring tape anymore. They let me go. See, the good news is, failure is never a person, it's only an event. You may have failed at your marriage, but you're not a failure. You may have failed at parenting, but you're not a failure. You may have failed in your business, but you're not a failure. You may have failed at school, but you're not a failure. Because here's the good news. Failure is written in pencil, and God has got a big old eraser. He can take all your failure away and just remove it, because you can't be afraid of failure, because your new name is. And there is a yes on my life. Think of it this way. If you had a pot of boiling water, and it was big, bad, and boiling. You take an egg. The egg goes in soft, but if you leave it in there long enough, it will become what? Hard. You take a carrot. The carrot goes in hard, but you leave it in there long enough, it's going to become what? Soft. Because the water took the egg and changed the egg. The water took the carrot and made it from hard to soft. Because the water changed the egg and the water changed the carrot. But if I was a tea bag, I look at the same pot of boiling water and say, you're big, bad, and boiling. You're hissing, spittering, and sputtering. When the egg went in there, you changed the egg. When the carrot went in there, you changed the carrot. But when I come in there, you will never be the same again. You will never be water again. When I come in there, you will look different. You will taste different. You will feel different. Your DNA will change. Your chemistry will change. Your texture will change. Everything about you will change. You can go to the best chemistry lab in the country, but you will never be water again, because I showed up. Can I talk to Freedom House Church for a moment? You got to make up your mind that wherever you show up, breakthrough shows up. Wherever you show up, a yes shows up. Wherever you show up, you want to say that I am a tea bag, because you see, when I grow up, I just want to be a tea bag. Unfortunately, everything else seems to influence us. When God has said, you are the light of the world, you're the salt of the world, you have a responsibility. See, that's the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. A thermometer just tells you what's the temperature, but a thermostat can change the very temperature of the room. Wherever you walk in the grocery store, and you know there is a yes. You walk into the bank, there is a yes. You walk into your job, there is a yes. You're talking to a friend, there is a yes. You're sending a text or a tweet, there is a oh yes. Over virtual reality, Facebook, there is a wherever, whoever comes in contact with anybody from Freedom House needs to know I will never be the same again because my new name is. And there is and when I grow up, I just want to be let me pray with you.